My name is Marcus Kane, and I'm from a small town in Ohio where dreams felt like luxuries we couldn't afford. 3 years ago, I thought I'd found a woman who would stand beside me through anything. I was wrong. What happened next taught me that some people only love your potential when it's already proven, and by then, it's too late for them to matter. The restaurant felt warmer than usual that evening. Or maybe it was just the anxiety creeping up my neck. Jessica sat across from me, her eyes distant, fork pushing pasta around her plate like she was searching for words hidden beneath the noodles. We'd been together 3 years, and I knew her silences. This one felt different. Dangerous. Then she said it. Marcus, I can't keep doing this anymore. I need a real provider, not someone still chasing dreams. The words hung in the air like smoke. My throat tightened. Around us, couples laughed and clinked glasses, but our table had become an island of crushing silence. She stood up, grabbed her purse, and walked out, leaving me with 2 plates of cooling food and a shattered heart. The waiter approached cautiously, probably sensing the wreckage. I couldn't move. The next morning, my phone buzzed with notifications I wished I'd never seen. Jessica had posted on Instagram, not explicitly about me, but everyone knew. Sometimes you have to choose stability over potential sparkle's gemstone, with a photo of her coffee and designer sunglasses. Then another, upgrading isn't giving up, it's choosing yourself crowned. My friends started texting, asking if I was okay, their pity worsened silence. At work, I felt eyes on me, whispers that stopped when I entered rooms. I sat in my car during lunch break, the uneaten sandwich mocking me from a passenger seat. My small apartment felt enormous and empty that night. I'd built my entire world around someone who saw me as a risk, not a partner. The rejection didn't just hurt. It made me question everything I'd been working toward. Her final message came 2 days later, a wall of text that felt like a knife twisting deeper with each sentence. Marcus, you're a good person, but ambition doesn't pay bills. I need someone who can give me the life I deserve, not promises about what might happen someday. I hope you understand. Below it, she'd attached a paragraph about personal growth and difficult choices. That evening, I saw her Instagram story, tagged at an upscale steakhouse with someone new. His suit probably cost more than my monthly rent. Designer bags lined the table. Another story showed champagne glasses clinking. The caption, finally feeling valued, clinking glasses. My hands shook as I closed the app. She'd already moved on, probably had been planning it. Meanwhile, I was here, my tech startup barely surviving with one struggling client, wondering if she'd been right about me all along. The weeks that followed felt like drowning in slow motion. I couldn't focus on code anymore. Every line I wrote looked like failure. My one client was getting impatient with delayed deliveries, and I couldn't blame them. My rent was due, and my bank account laughed at the idea of covering it. I borrowed money from my mom, hearing the worry in her voice that she tried to hide. Baby, are you eating enough? Are you okay? I lied and said I was fine. At night, I'd lie awake wondering if Jessica had been right. Maybe I was delusional, chasing some impossible dream, while real life passed me by. My apartment walls felt like they were closing in. I researched jobs, regular jobs, safe jobs, the kind Jessica wanted me to have. My finger hovered over the submit application button. Everything hurt. If you're enjoying the story so far, please take a moment to like this story and also hit the subscribe button to get notified of our new series. Jessica's new life played out like a movie I was forced to watch. Every scroll through social media brought new evidence of her upgrade. Weekend getaway to Miami. Front row concert tickets. A post about finally being with someone who has his life together briefcase read hard. Her new boyfriend, Tyler, looked like he stepped out of a banking commercial. Perfect hair, perfect smile, perfect everything. Friends who used to be our friends now commented on her posts with heart emojis, and "You deserve this." Messages I knew carried unspoken judgments about me. People started treating me differently, speaking carefully, as if I might break, or worse, as if they'd always known I wouldn't make it. The shame wasn't just about losing her. It was about feeling like everyone had been waiting for me to fail, and now I'd proven them right. I was sitting on my apartment floor at 2 a.m., surrounded by bills and rejection emails from potential investors, when my friend Carlos called. Bro, remember when you first told me about your startup idea? Your eyes lit up like fireworks. What happened to that guy? I tried to explain about Jessica, about feeling lost. He cut me off. Marcus, you had a vision before she came into your life, and you will have one after. Don't let someone who gave up on you make you give up on yourself. Something in his words cracked open a fog I'd been living in. After we hung up, I went in my contacts, found Jessica's number, and deleted it. Then I grabbed a notebook and started writing, not about her, but about what I wanted to build, who I wanted to become. By sunrise, I had a new plan. The past was done. It was time to prove something to myself. The breakthrough came from an unexpected place. A small angel investor named Patricia saw my pitch at a local startup mixer I almost didn't attend. I like your passion, she said. It reminds me of why I got into this business. The check wasn't huge, barely enough to keep things running for 6 months, but it felt like oxygen after drowning. I signed the papers with shaking hands. That night, I moved my mattress to the living room and converted my bedroom into an office. I sold my TV, canceled subscriptions I didn't need, and stocked up on instant noodles. My mom would have been horrified by my diet, so I didn't tell her. Every dollar went back into the business. My social life disappeared completely, but I didn't miss it. I tried the path with friends and relationships and validation. Now I was trying the path with just me and my vision. My new routine was brutal but purposeful. Wake up at 5 a.m., gym by 5:30, not for looks, but because of physical pain distracted from the emotional kind. Code from 7 a.m. to noon. Investor calls and client meetings in the afternoon. More coding until midnight. On particularly hard nights, when loneliness crept in, I'd watch motivational videos on YouTube, speakers talking about the price of greatness. I started journaling, pouring out everything I couldn't say to anyone else. The anger at Jessica, the fear of failure, the tiny sparks of hope when something went right. My journal became my therapist. I stopped checking her social media, blocked her entirely. If she was out there living her best life, fine. I was too busy building mine to care. The heartbreak became fuel. Every painful memory transformed into another hour of work, another cold email to potential clients, another feature added to my software. The message came through a mutual friend named Brianna, who probably should have kept her mouth shut. Hey, thought you should know. Ran into Jessica last week. She was asking about you, laughing about your little business venture. Said something like, I'd be driving a Benz by now if I'd stayed with him. Guess I dodged a bullet. Each word was a small cut, but together they formed something else. Proof that I'd made the right choice to let her go. Someone who truly loved you wouldn't mock your dreams at brunch. That night, I didn't feel anger. I felt clarity. I replied to Brianna, thanks for telling me. Means I'm heading in the right direction. Then I opened my laptop and got back to work. Her doubt became another layer of foundation I was building my success on. Every person who didn't believe in me was making my eventual victory sweeter. I made a decision that became my superpower. Complete silence. No revenge posts, no subtle jabs, no cryptic quotes about karma. Nothing. While Jessica posted her life online, I went dark. No personal updates, no flexing, no hints about my growing success. Just professional posts about industry insights. Occasionally a team photo. Friends asked why I was so quiet. Just focused. I'd say the truth was deeper. I learned that success makes the most noise in silence. Actions scream louder than words ever could. My team grew to 5 employees. We moved from my apartment to a small office space with actual desks and a whiteboard. Revenue doubled, then tripled. Every milestone felt sweeter because nobody saw it coming. I was building something real, while everyone assumed I'd given up. The gap between perception and reality was becoming a canyon, and I was fine letting it grow. If this story is hitting different, show some love by liking and subscribing for more incredible stories like this. The apartment I moved into wasn't a penthouse, but it was mine. No borrowed furniture, no hand-me-downs. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. A real office space separate from where I slept. I bought a high-end laptop and a chair that didn't hurt my back after 12-hour coding sessions. Paid off my credit card debt in one payment and watched the balance drop to zero. Sent my mom money, telling her it was for the time she'd helped me. She cried on the phone, saying she was proud of me. These wins were small compared to what I'd eventually achieve, but they represented something crucial: sustainability. I wasn't gambling anymore. I was building. My business had positive cash flow, happy clients, and a waiting list. Nothing flashy, nothing to make people's heads turn, but it was solid, real, and entirely earned by my own sweat and resilience. The email from venture capital firm Tech Forward read like fiction. They'd been watching companies in our space and wanted to discuss a Series A investment. The meeting happened in a glass-walled conference room with a view that made my nice apartment look modest. 5 partners asked probing questions about market size, competitive advantages, and scalability. I answered each one clearly, backed by data and vision. When they asked about my inspiration, I kept it simple. I wanted to solve a real problem, and I was willing to work longer than anyone else believed possible. 2 weeks later, the term sheet arrived. $2.5 million in funding at a valuation that made me read the email 3 times to ensure I wasn't hallucinating. That night, I stood on my apartment balcony, city lights glittering below, and allowed myself a moment of pure gratitude. Nobody knew yet. The announcement was weeks away. But I knew everything was about to change. Her message appeared on my Instagram, DMs like a ghost from a life I'd buried. Hey, stranger, pleading face, long time. Hope you're doing well. No explanation, no context, just casual, as if she hadn't shattered me and then publicly mocked my dreams. I stared at it for a long moment, feeling nothing. Not anger, not satisfaction, not curiosity. Just nothing. I didn't respond. Didn't even mark it as read. Whatever reaction she was fishing for, I wasn't giving it to her. My focus was forward, and she represented backward. A few days later, another message. Saw you're doing well with your company. Always knew you had potential, Red Heart. The revisionist history was almost funny. I showed it to Alex, who rolled his eyes. Block her, man. But I didn't need to. She was already irrelevant. My silence said everything my words couldn't. The ship had sailed, and I was captaining it toward horizons she couldn't even imagine. Revenue didn't just grow, it exploded. Within 6 months of series of funding, we tripled our client base and expanded the team to 20 employees. Tech blogs started covering our software. Industry publications called us innovative and disruptive. I gave interviews about entrepreneurship, carefully avoiding personal stories, keeping everything professional. We attended startup conferences where people actually knew who we were. Competitors started copying our features, which my team took as a compliment. We moved into a sleek downtown office with a coffee bar and collaborative spaces. I still worked brutal hours, but now it wasn't desperation. It was momentum. We were building something that mattered, solving problems for thousands of users. The validation wasn't just about proving Jessica wrong anymore. It was about proving my younger self right for believing when nobody else did. The universe has a weird sense of timing. I was at the mall buying a gift for my mom when I saw them, Jessica and Tyler, her provider, standing near the fountain. She looked different, tired maybe, or just older in ways that 3 years shouldn't account for. Our eyes met. Shock registered on her face, probably because I looked nothing like the broken man she'd left. Regular gym sessions, better clothes, the confidence that comes from earning your peace. Tyler was arguing with her loudly about something expensive she wanted, his voice echoing off the marble. I'm not made of money, Jessica. People stared. I could have walked away invisibly, but she'd already seen me. She broke away from him, approaching with a nervous smile. Marcus? Wow, you look really good. I nodded politely. Thanks. You too. Hope everything's well. Her eyes searched mine for something. Anger, lingering feelings, an opening. She found nothing. Later that evening, my phone buzzed with text from an unknown number. I knew it was her before I even opened it. It was really good seeing you today. You look happy. I'm proud of how far you've come. I read it twice, noting how carefully she crafted each word. The call back to being proud of me, as if she'd been rooting for me all along, instead of laughing at my little business venture over brunch with friends. I typed and deleted several responses. Angry ones, cold ones, explanatory ones. Finally, I settled on simple. Thanks. Hope you're well. Then I muted the conversation. No malice. No opening for further contact. No explanation needed. What could I possibly say to someone who gave up on me at my lowest? Who saw my struggle as embarrassment rather than growth? The right words didn't exist because the conversation itself didn't matter anymore. She was a chapter I closed. My story was volumes beyond her now. The email appeared at 6:47 a.m. on a Tuesday. Sender name simply Forbes. I assumed it was spam until I read the subject line. Feature opportunity, Forbes 30 under 30. My heart stopped, then raced, then stopped again. The email detailed how their editorial team had been tracking emerging entrepreneurs in tech, and my company's growth trajectory and innovation had caught their attention. They wanted to interview me for the upcoming Forbes 30 under 30 list in the technology category. I read it 5 times, checked the sender domain, even Googled the editor's name to confirm legitimacy. It was real. I sat at my desk, laptop open, unable to move. 3 years ago, I'd been sitting in a restaurant being told I wasn't enough. Now Forbes wanted to feature my net worth and success story. I called my mom first. She screamed so loud, I had to pull the phone away from my ear. This is getting intense. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated on how this unfolds. The Forbes photo shoot felt surreal. Professional photographers, stylists, a whole team coordinating lighting and backgrounds. They interviewed me for 2 hours, asking about my journey, my company's mission, what drove me during hard times. I kept Jessica's name out of it, framing my motivation around solving problems and proving something to myself. After it wrapped, I took my team out for dinner, announcing bonuses that made Maya cry happy tears. But the moment that mattered most came later. I bought my mom a car, nothing flashy, but reliable, safe, hers. When I handed her the keys in her driveway, she collapsed into my arms sobbing. Baby, you didn't have to do this. But I did. She believed in me when I couldn't afford to believe in myself. She'd sent me money when she barely had any. This wasn't charity. It was honoring the person who'd never doubted me. I recorded her reaction on my phone, not for social media, but for myself, a reminder of what real success looked like. Forbes published the article on a Monday morning. My phone didn't just buzz. It exploded into constant vibration. Text messages, calls, DMs from people I hadn't spoken to in years. High school classmates, former co-workers, distant relatives. Everyone suddenly remembered they knew me. The article was comprehensive. My net worth, my company's valuation, the journey from struggling startup to industry disruptor. They'd even included a professional photo of me in the office, looking like someone who belonged in their pages. News outlets picked up the story. LinkedIn notifications multiplied into hundreds. Investors I'd pitched years ago who'd rejected me sent congratulatory messages as if they'd always believed in me. The irony wasn't lost on me. Success makes everyone your friend retroactively. I spent the day responding politely, accepting congratulations, feeling surreal about the whole thing. But one notification was missing, the one I'd been unconsciously waiting for. Jessica's message came at 11:47 p.m., 5 paragraphs of carefully constructed emotion. It started with congratulations, transitioned into nostalgia about our beautiful relationship, claimed she'd always believed in my vision even when I couldn't stay, apologized for any hurt I caused, and ended with, I miss what we had. Can we talk? Maybe meet for coffee? I read it on my penthouse balcony, city lights spreading below like scattered diamonds. The view from up here was incredible, both literally and metaphorically. I thought about responding, explaining how her leaving had actually saved me from building success with someone who didn't deserve to share it. But that would give her story importance in mine. She was a catalyst, not a character. I set my phone down without responding and poured myself a drink. If she was looking for closure, she'd have to find it within herself. My peace didn't require her understanding. The screenshots started arriving from friends the next day. Jessica had posted her close friend's story. Screenshots showed a crying selfie and a long rant about losing her soulmate, making the biggest mistake of her life, and realizing too late what she had. Several friends forwarded it with laughing emojis. "Bro, she's spiraling," Carlos texted. "Karma's wild." Others sent messages about Tyler apparently breaking up with her, something about financial issues and discovering debts he'd hidden. The schadenfreude felt tempting, but I'd grown past finding pleasure in her pain. She wasn't suffering because of me. She was suffering because she'd made choices based on external validation rather than genuine connection. I'd done the same once, measuring my worth by her opinion of me. We both needed to learn hard lessons. Mine just happened to end better, because I'd chosen to grow rather than blame. Still, I wouldn't lie. It felt validating that the universe had its own way of teaching people what they needed to learn. She appeared in my office building lobby on a Friday afternoon. My assistant called up, "Marcus, there's someone here to see you. Jessica? She doesn't have an appointment." I considered having security remove her, but decided to face it directly. I rode the elevator down, each floor a moment to center myself. She stood near the windows, looking small in the vast marble lobby. When she saw me, her face lit up with desperate hope. She moved toward me for a hug. I stepped back gently but firmly, maintaining distance. "Jessica, Marcus, please, can we talk? Just 5 minutes." She looked different, worn down, like life had been harder than she'd expected. I felt sympathy, but not responsibility. "What will we talk about?" That was a different lifetime. "I made a mistake. I should have believed in you. In us." Her voice cracked. I took a slow breath, choosing words carefully. "Jessica, you didn't leave because I couldn't provide. You left because you couldn't believe." The words hung between us, simple and devastating. She started to respond, but I continued. "You wanted guarantees in a life that doesn't offer them. You needed me to already be successful instead of becoming it together. That's not wrong. It's just who you are. But I can't be with someone who only loves the destination, not the journey." She was crying now, mascara running. "I've changed. I understand now. Please, Marcus. I love you. I always have." I shook my head slowly. "I don't hate you. I'm not even angry anymore. But I don't go backwards. You taught me that I needed someone who believed in me at my lowest, not someone who showed up once I proved everyone wrong." I touched her shoulder briefly, kindly. "I hope you find happiness. Really, but it won't be with me." Then I turned and walked toward the elevator, leaving her in the lobby with the ghost of what could have been. 6 months later, I sat on my penthouse balcony watching the city wake up beneath a purple dawn. The Forbes feature had opened doors I couldn't have imagined. My company was thriving, my team was happy, and I'd started a foundation helping young entrepreneurs from disadvantaged backgrounds access resources and mentorship. The success was sweet, but the peace was sweeter. I'd learned that the right person would have grown with me, not waited to see me win before deciding I was worthy. Jessica taught me that love based on achievement is just transaction with feelings attached. Real love sees potential and stays through the chaos of becoming. I sipped my coffee, smiled at the rising sun, and whispered to my younger self, the one sitting broken in that restaurant, "Thank you for not giving up. This was all worth it." The city stretched endlessly before me, full of possibility, and I was finally free.